yeah, I thought I'd sit down and talk to you about like the full journey, what I did, how I got it back, and what I'm doing now, I suppose. But yeah, so I'd also just quickly point out maybe like a couple of things that I did, like specifically on that journey. In my period recovery journey, I was working out and training 3.5 hours max a week, and I'm now training 12 to 15 hours for an Ironman a week, which is absolutely insane. And I just want to put that into perspective and like show you guys that it is so possible that if you commit and do that hard thing to start off with, like recovering and getting your period back, you will soon be there. Like,
I can't tell you really what it is, but you got it. Makeup in the morning, you got dresses in your closet, but you grab them tight, you in love with being modest. You a move body giving interviews, I'm just saying I'm amused, but you ain't even flexing. Then you cool, tatted up, cover wounds, different vibe, you know it.
good morning guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. It feels like it's actually been quite a while since I filmed a YouTube video, which is insane, but I've just got back from the gym. I did my 90 minutes, so an hour and a half interval bike session today. And that's all I'm doing today. I'm just doing bike this morning. It was an hour and a half long, so it was a big session. But yeah, normally with triathlon training, there's so many double days and things like that. But today is literally just bike, which is so nice. And that's because I have an event this evening. So I just don't really have time to fit it in around work, etc. So just the one session today, which is nice. But yeah, I went there nice and early. I got there for like 5:45. I did sauna for 10 minutes and then I got ready at the gym and then come home and I'm ready to go, and I'm going to take Bruno out on a walk now. However, I am ravenous and I don't really want to wait for breakfast when I get back, so I'm just going to snack on an apple as well. I had my protein oat bake before I went to the gym, just some quick fast carbs, and yeah, we're going to have breakfast when I get back, but I'm just going to eat this apple on the walk. And yeah, we'll be back in about an hour to have some breakfast before my first meeting of the day at 10 AM. Another thing that is very important that I need to get done today, these nails. They are growing, oh, you can't see them there. They are growing out, guys. They're so disgusting. So I'm going to get my nails done today as well if I have time. But yeah, lots of meetings, lots of calls, and then we have an event this evening, which I'm going to be heading to for an hour. But yeah, apart from that, let's crack on with the day. This is basically just a full day of food, what I eat in a day, and I'm also going to be sitting down with you guys and talking about period recovery and Red S and how I recover my period, because I've had so many questions since uploading YouTube videos and Instagrams and things all about it and my journey. So yeah, I'm going to sit down and talk to you guys about it, but without further ado, let's crack on, and I'll see you guys next at breakfast.
Ooh, yeah, yeah, baby. Said exclusive. I just promised you my time, and I'm giving it to you, babe. So why you being accusive? Your emotions running wild. If you don't calm down, I can't stay. Breathe in, breathe out. Let me speak now. What happened was a one-time thing. No bullshit, no lie. I swear I'll try to give you my everything. Baby, can't you turn up blind eye? Let it slide, let it slide. Look the other way this one time. Let it slide, let it slide. I'm entitled to some fun while I'm young and dumb. Swear that you're the one I want in the long run. Baby, let it slide.
Ceiling fan blowing cold breeze on your body. I can't tell you really what it is, but you got it. Makeup in the morning, you got dresses in your closet, but you grab them tight, you in love with being modest. You a move body giving interviews, I'm just saying I'm amused, but you ain't even flexing. And you cool, tatted up, cover wounds, different vibe, you know improve, but you ain't even flexing. And you ain't gotta try too hard. Number one fan, yes I applaud. Got me think about inside the walls. words cut deep, it's like a sword. Making me better, you hotter than pepper, You with a big stepper who chasing the cheddar, All of these women, they not on your level, You like a mix of business and pleasure, You a move body giving interviews. I'm just saying I'm amused, but you ain't even flexing. And you cool, tatted up, cover warm, different vibe, you new ain't pro. But you ain't even flexing. 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 But you ain't even flexing.
Well, I thought this would be better lighting. Actually, it is not bad lighting here. Hi guys, I just had my lunch. You just saw that I actually had it wasn't sirloin today, it was a extra lean cut beef medallion. I think that's what they call them. Anyway, story of that is I very rarely eat red meat. In fact, I haven't touched red meat in the past maybe like 2 months, and that's for no other reason than I just don't have it. And I've always found like chicken to be quite a leaner meat and just more enjoyable. Like, I haven't always been a fan of red meat. However, recently I've been introducing like 2 portions of red meat a week into my diet, just for those extra vitamins and things that the red meat gives you that like white meat doesn't. So yeah, that's the reason why I've been introducing red meat. Also, per like grams and stuff, protein is so much higher. And yeah, just really enjoying it actually, and just finding ways to have it. Like, I really enjoyed it then because it was like seasoned well with sweet potato fries. So I'm actually kind of enjoying it as well, which is great. But I always go for the lean cut meats, so that's either like sirloins or medallions, and I always go for the extra lean. So yeah, that's the story on red meat and why I had a steak for lunch on a Tuesday afternoon. It's Wednesday. What day is it? Oh no, it's Tuesday today. On a Tuesday afternoon. Anyway, I'm having this pot of yogurt for my lunch dessert because you guys know I love a lunch dessert. So I've just put in some toffee flav drops for my protein in there as well. I normally add like blueberries, like frozen blueberries or raspberries and Cocoa Pops to my yogurt bowl, but there's not a lot of room in this yogurt pot, so I'm just going to have the yogurt, toffee yogurt. Chef's kiss. But whilst I eat this, I thought I would sit down and talk to you guys about Red S and period recovery journey, because I haven't actually sat down and talked about this. By the way, I got my nails done this morning. Do we like them? It was the first design that came up on Pinterest and I was like, love, sign me up, let me get them done. So I did. Anyway, I haven't actually sat down and talked about my period recovery journey and Red S before, so I thought I would sit down today on this video and talk to you guys about it. I find these mukbang videos so hard because I'm just here for the food, so like I wouldn't actually speak. Let me do one more mouthful and then I'll start my talking. So good. Anyway, yeah, so I haven't actually sat down and talked to you guys about it. I kind of only ever showcase what I eat in a day, the things I'm eating whilst getting back my period or having my period, etc. So yeah, I thought I'd sit down and talk to you about like the full journey, what I did, how I got it back, and what I'm doing now, I suppose. But yeah, so I was missing my period for, well, I started contraception back when I was 13 years old, and then I wasn't 13, I was 15. I was actually 15, nearly turning 16, because I used to get the worst periods ever when I was 16, and like ever. I would be on the floor the first 1 to 2 days of my period. I would be on the floor just crying, like it would be so painful. So that's the reason why I first ever went on contraception. Anyway, and then ever since then I was never off it until like after dance college. So I was on the coil for the past like 3 years, I think it was, or maybe even 4 years, up until April 2021. Was it 2021? No, it was April 2022 until I was on the coil. I got it taken out in April 2022. And then previous to that, like I'd suffered with quite disordered eating and things like that. So I had also lost a lot of weight, done excessive exercise, been at dance college for 4 years, training 12 hours a day. Like it was really excessive, and I knew the side effects that could cause to your your menstrual cycle and things, that what that could cause to your menstrual cycle, but obviously I wasn't experiencing it because I was always on contraception, so I never actually knew if it was affecting me. So anyway, luckily I was kind of like, I wouldn't say recovered, I'd say coming out of my disordered eating past, because I'd left dance college, etc. So I was in a much healthier place with food. However, I was still training very intensely and probably just not fueling my body enough. So that was back in 2022 when I got it taken out. My period never returned, and as soon as it got to like just before the 2-year mark of not having my period, I was like, this is so strange, like why? It wasn't even the 2-year mark actually, it was probably just over a year, probably about a year and a half, like middle of last year. I was like, why is it not returning? Like, and it's something that you kind of forget about because you've been on contraception for so long. I never really thought about my period coming a lot. So like one day I was just like, this is so strange. Like I knew about it because of course I'm a coach, and like I know how important your menstrual cycle is, but when you've not had a period for that long due to contraception, you're just kind of waiting for it anyway. It's not on your mind all the time. So it then got to a point after like a year and a half, I was like, it really should be here now. And I'd been to the doctors anyway previously, 6 months before that, about a year into my like getting the contraception out, and I was like, look, it hasn't returned. And the doctor was like, look, we have to leave it. At least it might even take up to 3 years. And I was like, that's so strange. And I was like, okay, whatever. They never flagged anything up or mentioned anything else in regards to like red S, exercise, food, anything like that. It was just, we have to wait. So anyway, got to October last year and I was like, I am done. I thought I was in a really great place with food. However, I was training for marathons and I was doing things. I got injured, and a lot of things propped up last year where I was like, this may be due to red S in my period. Like I got injured after the marathon, fatigue, etc. So in October last year, I reached out to a nutritionist, and luckily she's actually a friend of mine, which is I'm so lucky for. Well, I met her through a friend, and she's like one of my friend's best friends. So I was like, I asked my friend actually, who's friends with her, I asked her, I was like, look, I've seen her on Instagram, like, and I know you're friends. Like, would she help me do this? Like, would she help me get my period back? And she was like, absolutely, like, reach out to her. So I reached out to her, I dropped her a message, and I was like, look, basically just very briefly explained the story. I was like, I'm looking to get my period back. And she was like, absolutely. She was like, took me under her wing. She was like, took me on board. And the first meeting that we had, we actually sat down and we just talked about my current training routine, and just my previous experience with like contraception, etc., how long I've been off contraception, and she basically took all my details, all my training routine that I was currently training, what I'm training for, and came back to me a week later with all these graphs. And basically in those graphs was telling me like basically the total expenditure. It's so hard to explain. I'll kind of put a little bit of a example on screen, hopefully, if I can find one. But it basically just explained like what we're gonna do, how we can reduce training, heart rate levels for each training session, like what your heart rate should be getting up to, how many steps we should be doing a day, and then how much food we should be hitting on these specific days. Like each day had specific food. It was so accurate. It was like to the T, like to the 1 calorie, if that makes sense. Like it was like 2,963 calories. Like it was so precise, which I love. I'm all about graphs. I love organized people like that. I love graphs. I love spreadsheets. Give me it all. So I was so excited. So this was the second meeting with Hannah, and she was like, this is what you need to be eating. Let's cut down here. You need to be taking this amount of rest days. And that amount for me was 4 training days, 3 of them being in the gym for no longer than 60 minutes. And the 4th training day was a 5-kilometer run, and that had to be zone 2 and nothing else. It couldn't be any more, any less. It could have been less, of course, but it couldn't be any more. And I really needed to prioritize those rest days in between, and I had to make sure the rest days split up the training days. So that's what I did, because I was just ready for this change. I was ready to commit, and that is the one thing that I need to like express about this journey, is you have to be ready to commit, and you can't just go in half-assed, otherwise you're just not going to get the results you want. And the sooner you make those changes, the sooner it comes back, and then happy days, you can return back to normal. So anyway, that was in October. she came back to me with this graph, and I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna go all in. I'm gonna eat these amount of calories, and like, we just put the calories up. I was eating around, it was anywhere around 2,900 to 3,500 calories a day. This was from October, and mid-November, my cycle returned. I think I was just under 6 weeks into this journey and my cycle returned. And I could have screamed. I did scream. I was so buzzing. So yeah, mid-November, the cycle came back. And from there, obviously you need to have 3 cycles to make sure that it has returned. Post that cycle, another cycle came, then another cycle came. So by January, I'd already had 3 menstrual cycles, which was insane. From the first one, we then started to slowly introduce a little bit more movement, and we started to be a little less strict on like hitting calories. And I don't mean under eating, but I mean not having to track every day, because I already knew what my body needed. And yeah, I thought I'd also just quickly point out maybe like a couple of things that I did like specifically on that journey. So the first one is to drink water and have food within the 30 minutes of waking up every single day. Like, that is the first thing I do. Never ever train fasted. I always ate and drank water before training or drinking coffee in the morning. The second thing that I did was I ate before every single movement. In regards to like training session, going on a walk, going on a run, I ate before every single one. Even if that was taking our dog out on a walk, Hannah was like, you need to fuel taking your dog out on a walk. Like, that is how much your body needs. So I even ate, you know, like a piece of flapjack, some toast, some saurine, or anything carby before I took the dog out on a walk. And then every time I got back, I also refueled as well. Even if that was just a walk, I would have a protein bar, or I'd have another piece of toast or something, a bowl of cereal. I would refuel after every single training session, walk, movement, anything that I did. And that was great because I knew my calories were high, I needed to fuel, and I just did not worry about those numbers. Another thing that I did was really prioritize rest and recovery. On those rest days, I rested. I didn't take myself out on an extra long walk to hit 30k steps. I rested, and the steps were still very low. My sleep was very high. I made sure my body got the rest. And that is a key priority. Your body needs to feel safe, and your body feels safe when it is resting. Your heart rate's lower, you're chilling out, and yeah, that is a very, very important point. What else did I do? What else was my final tip? I limited caffeine intake. This was just personal to me. This was not something that Hannah suggested for me to do. This was personal to me and my anxiety more than anything. But I limited my coffee intake to just 1 coffee a day, and it always had to be after a substantial meal. So it couldn't just be after my morning snack. It had to be after or with my breakfast, which was a big bowl of oats. And it never after 2 p.m. in the day. So it was always very early on in the day as well. So yeah, they're very specific things that I did, and hopefully some of you guys will hopefully take on board or will help you. But I just cannot stress the importance of committing and actually wanting to do it. There are so many other side effects to not having your menstrual cycle, and it's not just not being able to have a baby, but it's also fatigued, no progress in your workouts, it's no recovery in your muscles, it's stress fractures, it's injuries. There is so much to it. Low libido, there is weeing all the time. I never knew it was not normal to not be able to hold a wee. I could never hold a wee, guys. My bladder would just let the wee out. However, now I can hold a wee. Like, it's just those small things that you don't actually think about that actually matter, and like that just make sense. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So anyway, here I am today. I've had enough periods now to complain that I'm getting a period. Yeah, how many periods have I had now? I think I'm on to my 9th cycle now, so actually insane. And yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about and ramble about. I've not eaten any of my yogurt because I've been talking so much. This is the thing with mukbangs. I don't want to eat and talk at the same time. Currently now training for an Ironman, which is insane, like 6 months later. And yeah, a lot of people think you can still train for marathons and Ironmans and things like that whilst not having your period and trying to get it back. But really, you just must prioritise one thing at a time, and the sooner you prioritise that, the sooner you can then start to train for marathons and Ironmans, etc. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that story. Any other questions though that you guys have, please don't be afraid to ask me in the comments below or on Instagram DMs, anything like that. Please do ask me. But yeah, I really thought I'd sit down, address the situation of what I actually did and the journey and things that I went on. In regards to like now, I'm just fueling for performance. I'm probably still eating anywhere between, I'm saying average 2,600 to 3,000 calories a day, depending obviously if that's like a double training day, etc. But yeah, just fueling for performance now. I'm fueling to feel good, eat food, etc. And I just know when my cycle is coming because I eat like a horse. Like I normally eat a lot, but that week before my period, I am an actual horse. I'm an actual animal. Okay, the food shop is double the price. I am starving all the time, but I just know that that's my menstrual cycle coming, and I'm not complaining after having it missing for 5 or 6 years. Anyway, I'm gonna go do some work. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that story, that journey, and hopefully it's inspired some of you guys out there that might be suffering with red S or trying to get your period back. But yeah, like I said, any questions, I am more than happy to answer because it's such a topic that we need to talk about and that shouldn't be taboo. So yeah, I'm gonna go do some work and I'll catch up with you guys. I don't know when, maybe probably another snack before my event this evening. Just another quick one. Whilst I was eating my yogurt, I was working out. In my period recovery journey, I was working out and training 3.5 hours max a week, and I'm now training 12 to 15 hours for an Ironman a week, which is absolutely insane. And I just want to put that into perspective and like show you guys that it is so possible that if you commit and do that hard thing to start off with, like recovering and getting your period back, you will soon be there. Like when I was recovering and like on that journey of only training 3.5 hours a week, it just felt like I would never be where I am today. Like it just felt, that's just what it feels like. But I just want to explain that it's so normal to feel like that, but the sooner you recover, the sooner you commit, the sooner you dedicate to your journey, you will be where you want to be, and you will be training for those marathons, and you will be training for those Ironmans and those triathlons so much more healthier. So yeah, just a little side note. Love ya.
Ooh, yeah, baby. No. We never said exclusive. I just promised you my time, and I'm giving it to you, babe. So why you being accusive? Your emotions running wild. If you don't calm down, I can't stay. Breathe in, breathe out. Let me speak now. What happened was a one-time thing. No bullshit, no lie. I swear I'll try to